Hello class, Dave Donahue here from Savannah, Georgia. It's a pleasure to be with everybody. We're going to walk through this Cheyenne to Rapid City flight for the discussion. Here right quick, I'm going to try to keep it brief so I don't take up anybody's time too much, but while also yet trying to be thorough enough. Sitting here with my DP talking about the flight for the oral. So the flight from, and I apologize beforehand, I tried to upload the picture from ForeFlight, and for some reason I can't get the email to go through, and that way I could save it to my desktop and everything else, and it isn't behaving for me. So if you see me look down every now and again, it's because I'm just consulting my iPad with ForeFlight. Most of you probably did the same thing, brought up the direct route and taken a look at it. So with that said, I'll kind of jump into it here. My intent with the scenario is to fly direct in one leg from Cheyenne to Rapid City in the 172, and I'm using NW Craft, as most of you probably are, as my guide. So just going through that, I took a look at the NOTAMs and a couple runway closures. No effect anyways on us because it wasn't the runway I intend to use anyways that's closed. The weather at the destination especially is obviously a bit convective, so some potential extensive vertical development is probably anticipated. No known delays. The runway I plan on using at Rapid City would be runway 32, concerning the winds at the time that I developed this flight plan. It's an 8,700 foot runway, and I actually plan on, which I'll talk about here in a minute, I actually plan on filing VFR to IFR and picking up IFR about halfway there, a little bit more than halfway there, just to the west of Kilo Charlie Delta Romeo is where I plan on picking up the IFR, flying VFR all the way up to that point. And so coming into Rapid City, we plan on using the LPV, the RNAV LPV approach. That's a right traffic pattern. And as far as alternate goes, I would, in this case, file an alternate, as I would in most any case, especially these long cross countries, just in case things deteriorate. And the alternate that I picked for this was just to the east of Rapid City, Kilo Papa Hotel Papa. The reason I picked this was I'm anticipating a tailwind to get there. It has multiple runways. The terrain going to the east lowers instead of going west into the foothills or even maintaining and staying in the foothills. So I'd be going east, getting out of terrain in case I had a performance problem or something like that. Kilo Papa Hotel Papa also has close lodging and food, and probably just as important as anything, it's still drivable to our destination. So we fly all this way, and we have to divert, and we get over to again Philip, and we can still get a rental car and go over and do our original plan. So it takes a lot of the external pressure off, knowing that worst case scenario, we still get to do what we're looking for anyways, and it turns into just a little bit more of an adventure. So moving on in NW Craft after alternates, I checked the fuel. We have plenty of fuel on board for him and I. We're kind of light packers. A to B plus the alternate plus 45 minutes, and there's plenty for that. So we don't need any additional fuel stops or anything. And then finally, takeoff and performance data. You know, we're flying at night into our runway. We're going to have more runway than needed, and then even anticipating takeoff the next day or the next 2 days later, whenever the takeoff allows, or whenever we expect to. We have plenty of runway that's within our performance specifications that we need. So even with that high DA in the summertime in the mountains. Again, we'll be departing VFR, and I'll pick up IFR en route once directly west of Kilo Charlie Delta Romeo. And I'm going to file at a planned altitude tonight, the night that we're leaving, of 11,000. That's well below my service ceiling still of the aircraft. And at night especially, I really like the options that kind of altitude gives me, especially in the foothills. So 11,000, that puts me above the Orokas. Again, I'm flying a direct-to route, GPS route, and yeah, that's what I anticipate to do. Upon the arrival at the destination, I do anticipate the tower being closed, and so I'm expecting to be on with Denver Center until I hand myself over to the local CTAF. So additional considerations I've taken in are I do have oxygen cannulas ready because we're at that high altitude, especially at night. I've got backup iPads and flashlights. I've got a Bluetooth headset as well. If I had comms go out, I've got a center on speed dial on my phone that I can just press the Bluetooth and call them up directly like that, and still yet do the Amy from Avenue F. If I'm on my IFR flight plan at that point, obviously I can still do my field communications procedures if that were to happen. But I can also just get the Bluetooth headset rocking and call tower up directly. Additional considerations to that, we are in the Rocky Mountain foothills, and so I'm careful of and ever watchful of leeward winds from the mountains and the downdrafts that they can create. I'm not too worried about mountain waves, as the air seems obviously depicted from the TAFs. The air is unstable with localized thunderstorms in the area and that sort of thing. So considering the PAVE checklist, I'll make sure that I'm well rested, and I'll also use the I'm safe model, as well as being well hydrated and being well fed. So with the aircraft, I'm very familiar with that aircraft. Probably if I'm taking this flight with a friend, it's most likely a co-pilot friend who's an aviation enthusiast as well. And so with that G1000, that can sometimes be quite the workload. If I can always delineate some or assign some tasks to him, like operating the radios or something like that. So the environment, I am unfamiliar with the airport. So with that said, I'll anticipate having the airport diagram ready and probably even bring that up beforehand, along with my approach brief, taking a quick look at that and anticipating where we're going as far as traffic-wise, as far as once we get on the ground. I do anticipate low traffic that time of night, especially with that weather around too. So external pressures, again, kind of to recap, this is probably a friend of mine who anticipate, and hope, I would imagine they're probably pilot. I don't really have many friends that aren't into aviation, and they probably have the same anticipations as me, and realize that no one trip is worth unnecessary risk. Additional to that, I've checked ramp fees. I've called ahead to the FBO, since they're probably going to be closed. There's the potential for an after hours call, but we have a rental car ready and rooms reserved, so we're all set once we get there. And being that we're flying over some pretty desolate area as well, I'm going to try to be smart and pack a survival kit, which might include medical supplies, a medical kit, maybe even a handheld GPS, additional maps, handheld maps. I'll probably go ahead and that's where I like to put my phone while I'm on the flight, have it in the back seat. Food, water, and knife, that sort of thing. Just whatever we deem necessary to pack that might be handy in case we had to force land. So that's my trip from Cheyenne to Rapid City. I don't think I missed anything that's in my notes here. So yeah, I look forward to seeing all your all's videos and seeing what areas I missed, and continuing to get better at this pre-flight planning and that sort of thing. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.